My guest today is Nate Myers IV. Now, I first met Nate when he was a student at Shaw High School,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
and he announced to me one day his intention to become a professional musician.
Yes, sir.
And by George, that's exactly what he's done. Nate, welcome. And
Thank you.
tell us how you chose saxophone as your instrument, or did saxophone choose you?
Well, before I even answer that, I just want to say it's an honor and privilege to be here to talk to you. I appreciate you pouring into me back then. Back when I was in high school, you took the time to even hear me come. I remember it was the summer before my first year at Shaw, and I think my mom or somebody told you I played the tenor sax. So I brought the sax in to your office and played for you,
I
and
remember
we
that.
hit it off. We hit it off instantly. Yes, sir. But so I just want to go ahead and put that out there first, and just thank
My
give you
pleasure.
flowers.
My
Yes, sir.
pleasure.
Yes, sir. Now, as far as the saxophone, I feel like it was a mixture of both. It was pretty much like a love at first note type of situation. I remember my first day in beginning band, and we were going around the classroom testing out different instruments and trying to see which one works. And specifically the tenor sax. I picked it up, and the first note the note came out easily, like very easily, and everybody in the class like, whoa, I mean, of course it sounded good. It was just the fact that it would just felt so natural. I was like, yes, I did want to play the saxophone. That was something that I wanted to do, but actually doing that just kind of sealed the deal.
That's
So
great. Who was your first teacher, Nate?
her name was Gina Hancock, and this was in Wiesbaden, Germany. At
Oh, goodness.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
know, that's right. I'd forgotten your dad was military.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
25
wonderful.
years. Yes, sir.
So, you of all people ought to understand what practice and repetition mean.
Oh yes, definitely. Most definitely. My
Well,
parents do too.
what circumstances led you to become a professional musician?
um, wasn't real. Well, I had the 9 to 5 for a long time. I did it for a little while. I had at the time I had one child, so I had to do what I had to do, to make money, pay the bills. But I wasn't happy. I felt so unfulfilled. It was one of those like I work here, but I really do this type of situations. And I just eventually I started getting receiving calls for certain gigs and opportunities that I couldn't take because I had to work or
Right.
in with the schedule. So, but then I started doing the math and started really realizing how much I can make doing what I love to do and just the camaraderie and just a whole just it's just a whole different experience. I felt it was peaceful doing what I love to do, opposed to doing something I have to do. I don't really want to, and it just came to the point where I started doing the math and looking at how much I can make here and what I'm making at my job, and I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and line up. I had a few gigs and situations already lined up like months in advance, where I could at least have somewhat of a cushion to go ahead and leave my job and to just within in that time start building relationships and getting more situations. So that's pretty much how it came about, but I always knew I wanted to do it. I just didn't know how.
Yeah, sooner or later, you have to take that leap of faith, don't you?
Right. Yes, sir.
What was your first professional gig?
My first professional gig, I would say it was when I came home one break, like winter break or something. No, it might have been summer break during college. And I came home back to Columbus and I played at a local club down there. And that was my first my first experience of just playing out in front of people and stuff like that. Cause I grew up in the church. I was a church musician for my very first week receiving the saxophone. That Sunday I was at church playing 3 notes of
That's
song.
amazing.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Well, I will tell you that my first professional gig was in a club also,
There you
but
go.
it was in high school and not in college.
Oh
And
man.
I found a place where if you brought an instrument case, they would not ask for an ID.
Right. Right.
So, so I became a regular at that club playing and
Right.
not necessarily engaging in all the other
Of
activities
course.
along with it.
Right, right.
Now, I understood that you performed in the airport in Atlanta on a
Yeah.
regular basis.
I worked with them for a little over 2 years, and they have a special program for musicians to play in different concourses and different areas of the airport where people travel for the travelers, and it's funded by the airport, and they take we're actually employees. We have badges and everything, go through TSA, right straight through and all that good stuff. So I was with them for 2 years, and that was a great experience because I did a whole lot of networking because I mean, it's at Atlanta Airport is one of the busiest airports in the world. So I saw a
And
little bit.
you were playing by yourself, correct?
Yes, sir. Sacks and tracks, what I like to call it.
That's great.
Yes,
That's great. How long were your sets?
I would do about 2 hours. We have like a 2 hour, like I'll do like a 45-minute set, then break. But it was like a total of 2 hours every day, every other day that we work.
And you received tips for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did they pay you a salary on top of it?
They did. They did. Yes, sir.
Oh, excellent.
Oh yeah, it was
Excellent.
a nice situation. It was nice. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, now I also understand you have several recordings available.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Where
sir.
where can somebody access those?
You can find it everywhere music is sold. You can find it online anywhere, Apple Music, Spotify, all of the above. It's there. You type in Nate Myers the fourth, Nate Myers IV, and it should pop right up.
I'm going to check those out. Now, I've heard most of your stuff on Facebook,
Yes, sir.
but I don't do a lot of Spotify, but I guess I will now, won't I?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's great. Um, how much do you practice every day, Nate?
On an average, 1 to 2 hours a day. It's
That's
still
not bad. I heard you remember Doc Severinsen.
yes.
I read a story about him once where he said he practiced 6 hours a day if he wanted to stay where he was. If he wanted to get better, he had to go up to 8.
Wow.
Well, I've never been quite that
Yeah.
diligent in my musical
Right.
practicing, but I understand that every day it does require some effort and some work. Now, do
Yes.
you have a practice routine?
Um, Not well, yes, per se. Well, I do. I work on my scales. I work on my long tones, whole tones, holding notes as long as I can until I run out of breath, and kind of just working on my control, as far as controlling my sound and my embouchure and all that good stuff. So those are like my main things that I focus on because I'm really just right now just kind of just want to make sure my tone is where it should be and make sure I have that full control of that when I play. So that's one of the main things I kind of focus on for the most part.
And a lot of people don't understand that that's not
Right.
something that just occurs on its own. It
Right.
is something you have to develop over a period of time. And
Yes, sir.
then with saxophone, we have not only the differences in instruments, but the differences in mouthpieces and reeds and
Right.
everything else that you can think of that
Right.
goes into tone production. So
Yes, sir.
excellent. I'm not surprised you do that. Do you have any books or methods to recommend for people that are just now beginning in saxophone study?
Yes, I guess you would say like the basic beginning band books like Standard of Excellence. What's the other one? Essential Elements. These are very good textbooks that you can find in any music store. In your local music store, you can find it there. They have it pretty much breaks everything down from the fingering chart to the notation system, and root count, everything. It has everything
Yeah.
there.
Are
So
are you familiar with the universal method?
yes, that's another one. Yes,
That's,
sir.
that's usually a little more for advanced players, but I've lived with that book for about 50 years now
Yes, sir. That's a
and
yes.
still learning.
Right, right. Always a student. Always a student. Yes, sir.
What horn do you play, Nate?
Right now, I'm playing on the Java saxophones, EB Java saxophone tenor sax. It's actually it's a signature saxophone of saxophonist Ezra Brown. He's a very talented saxophone player from he's from Jackson, Mississippi, and
Yeah.
they reached out to me. They and I they sent me the horn. I mean, of course I had to pay a little something, but they give me a little deal. But I love it. I love the horn. I've been playing on it for a few years now, so I can show it to you.
I love the burnished look.
Yes, I love it too. Has that old finish, that satin brass finish.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes,
that's
sir.
great. I have uh I have finally, after many years, found a Keelworth, a
Mm.
90 model Keelworth
Ooh,
that I
nice.
have become attached to.
Yes.
And I've decided that that's the horn I've been looking for all my life.
Yes,
What
sir.
what mouthpiece reed combination do you use, Nate?
So I'm playing on a, I can't take it all right. It's kind of stuck on, but I'm playing on an Arnold Montgomery mouthpiece. Arnold Montgomery is, and he's based out of Alabama, and I actually went to his house and he made this particular mouthpiece for me. And
Ah,
yeah, and it's, I got it. Let me show it to you. Uh, take off the horn. So it has a fiberglass finish. It's it's
oh
fiberglass,
yeah, yeah.
and I love it. I love it. And as far as the reed, I'm playing on a Nexus reed, next size 2.5, and I play on a Sios ligature.
I'm familiar with the Sios ligatures. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Have you ever tried the oh goodness, the synthetic reeds starts
Yeah,
with an L.
Legier.
Yeah,
Legier.
Legier.
Yes,
I
sir.
started using those about a year ago.
Nice.
And the initial price is a little steep, about $40, but
Right.
it lasts a good read like that lasts for about 6 months. So I'm
Exactly.
saving money on reads now.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
something I've never been able to do before.
Right. I understand completely.
Yeah. um, do you use any electronics when you play, Nate, other than just a microphone?
I do have an EWI. I just need to electronic wind instrument for those that don't know what that means. But I still kind of have to get a little more fluent with it before I just bust out with it on the show. But as far as live shows right now, I just pretty much just straight saxophone.
I've played one of the Iwis for a while. I got a Yamaha, but
Nice.
I was dissatisfied with even though it has an adjustment for the touch
Hmm.
on the app that comes with the horn,
Hmm.
I couldn't get it to where it would respond as quickly as I wanted to, and it
Gotcha.
had to actually slow down my playing in order for some of the notes to speak clearly. And
Understood.
now I did love being able to change from soprano to alto to tenor to baritone just at the click of a button.
Yes, sir.
But I didn't like the other part to it. And don't let your batteries run down while you play it.
Ah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can
Yeah,
imagine.
that was never a problem I had with my real horns.
Right.
But,
Exactly.
do you use auto tune when you play, Nate?
No, sir. No,
Good,
sir.
good. The only way you're ever going to develop your ears is to develop your ears by using them.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but I know a lot of singers now use auto tune,
Yeah.
and even some instrumentalists. But
Yeah.
I've never thought that was a good idea.
No. Like beat natural. I just like the natural sound, you can play, if you can play, you can play. You know what I'm saying? You know.
So what Nate is your personal definition of musical talent?
Um, I would say being sincere when you play, and not even just because it's more and it's a feeling, like it's the way you approach your music, like you're playing, like it's not just necessarily just playing the right notes. It's about how you play it. It's about the way people feel when you play it, the way the feeling that you're delivering when you play it. It's so I look at talent more than just sounding good or more than just playing the right notes. It's like I said, it's more of a feeling thing. It's here. It's in here. It's it,
It's almost akin sometimes to a religious experience, and
right, right. Yes, sir.
and I used to have parents all the time that would, when I taught band, they would
Hmm.
come up and say, well, there's no musical talent in our family. And I always took that to mean, well, that means there's no musical instrument in your family.
That's
Is
all.
all that means. And
Exactly.
that if somebody wants to be talented, they need to practice more.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and the more you practice, the more talented you become.
That's it.
Yeah.
Not rocket science. Yes.
No, it's really not. Uh, can you tell us about some of the places you're scheduled to play, Nate, in the near future?
Okay. This upcoming week, next week, this weekend coming up, I'll be in Kiowa Island. But the biggest thing right now, next month, I'm going to Singapore, so I'll be there for a few days.
Oh, really? Now,
Yes, sir.
where on Kiowa Island are you playing? That's a beautiful place.
I'm not even sure. It's probably gonna be like a country club of some sort. It's a corporate band gig, so we're doing the wedding reception type of situation.
Okay, okay. Well, I hope you enjoy your stay there. It is absolutely beautiful.
Yes, sir. I've been there quite a few times. Yes, sir. It's a
Oh,
great time.
good,
Yes, sir.
good, good.
Yes,
I'm glad to hear that. Now,
sir.
who are you playing for in Singapore?
Well, it's a band based out of Brooklyn, New York called the Brooklyn Soul, and they work for a company. It's an international company. The company is based out of Europe, and basically they hire us for different like upscale events like all over. So we've been, let me see, we've been to Mexico, we've been to, of course, New York, we've been to Boston, just all Florida, all types of places. So now we're going to Singapore, and I'm not even sure exactly what the occasion is. I just know we're booked. I know, it's paying, but we'll find out as it gets closer to the date as far as what it is. Because sometimes it's exclusive, and we have to sign NDAs, and we can't really, sometimes it's for celebrities and stuff like that. Like we actually did in Boston, we did a wedding for the assistant coach of the Boston Celtics, his wedding, and then we did in Florida, we did David Beckham's son's wedding. So yeah,
So, half horn will travel.
exactly, exactly. That's the motto. That's the motto.
That's great. Uh, I read somewhere or saw on Facebook or something about uh, something you have coming up very soon in Atlanta, I think.
Yes, it was actually yesterday. I had a
Oh,
show.
whoa, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had a show at St. James Live. It's a very prominent jazz venue here in Atlanta, and I had a show there yesterday. It was great. It was great. So I'm
And
still.
well attended, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was very,
That's
very.
great.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
Nate, if you could pick one style of music and play only that, what would it be?
That's a good question. I just love music, so it'll be between gospel and jazz.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of similarities.
Exactly. So yeah, that's why I can't really name one.
Well, gospel from your church upbringing, I know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, that's great. And playing jazz is a lot more difficult than most people think.
Right.
It takes quite a while to develop your ear to the point where what you think translates into what your fingers do, into
Right.
what comes out of the horn.
Exactly.
And that takes not just time, but dedication.
Right. Right.
And you seem to have mastered that to a great extent now. Do you still take lessons?
I don't. I actually give lessons now. So
Oh, excellent.
yes, sir.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes,
May
sir.
call you up sometime.
Hey,
Well,
let me know.
can you play one of your favorite tunes for us, Nate?
I sure can. Let me see what I can do. Just. All right.
Beautiful, Nate. Beautiful. What key did you do that in?
C sharp. I know it's in the E flat, but I did in C sharp. I know. You got
That's
me.
all right.
I'm just playing. I'm playing. Yes, sir. C sharp.
That that's a great tune, man. You did a nice job with that.
Thank you.
Now, Nate, what advice would you have for, say, a sixth or seventh grader that wants to follow in your footsteps?
Well, I definitely want to let you know that it is possible. It's not impossible. At that age, it kind of it seems like, you know, pursuing music, that's not usually the ideal career path to take, but it is very doable. It's possible. Develop your own sound. Listen to your predecessors. Listen to the people that paved the way. Learn from that and make it your own. And don't worry about what the other person is doing or what they sound like, or what naysayers tell you. Some people might tell you you might want to consider doing this instead of pursuing music. But if you have a gift and you hone in on it, practice. But if you hone in on that, it'll take you far. You will be surprised. You'll surprise yourself at what you can do if you just have that faith and continue to have that discipline. Make sure you're disciplined and practice. Most importantly, practice.
And I know you have the support of your family.
Yes, that helps too.
I
Definitely
can
thankful.
imagine that it would be hard to do without it. What
Right.
are your next steps, Nate, as far as professional work goes?
Um, just right now, I've just been doing a lot of traveling with these different bands I play with. But as far as my own stuff, I've been working on my own music. I have some more new music coming soon. I'm also a one third of a horn section, and we call ourselves the Soulful Horns. It includes myself, Mr. Ryan Kilgore on sax. He actually played with Stevie Wonder for a little over 10 years. He now plays for Nita Baker. So he was like he is a big brother of mine. And also Duran Thigpen on trumpet. He's from Jackson, Mississippi. We're all down here, just those just phenomenal musicians and people. And so I've been working with them. We actually have music coming out as well. And we also work with different artists that need horns. We do studio work, we do live work, all of the above. So I've been busy with that, and it's been a blessing.
I can imagine. Well, Nate, congratulations on what to this point has been a very successful musical career.
Thank you.
And I know things are only going to get bigger and better for you.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
I want you to know that you mentioned two guys from Jackson, Mississippi,
Yes, sir.
and that I'm from Jackson too. So
Oh, okay.
if you need another tenor player, let me know.
Yes. Oh, I got you. You on speed? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Buddy, I enjoyed talking to you, and I'm
Likewise.
so happy for your success. And
Thank
I
you.
know it's even going to grow from here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
And
for
I'm
having
going
me.
to check in with you in a few more months
Yes,
and
sir.
see what new things you've done.
I look forward to it. And thank you so much. It was an honor and privilege. And thank you. Just thank you for everything. Thank you for everything you've done over the years. Thank you for pouring into me. I truly appreciate it. It means a lot.
My pleasure, buddy. My pleasure. Good luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.